You have 5 fleets in Canada in 5 different jurisdictions. There is no system that feeds that into one report. You have to run the score from each different jurisdiction that they're in. So that's one issue. We don't have a central database that it's going to. Second issue is, even though they have the MOU, they don't follow it. Right? If you pull the CVOR, is what we call the National Safety Code System in Ontario, you'll get a score. It says you've used up 25% of your 100% that you're allowed. You run the fleet from Alberta, you'll get an R factor rating of 0.07463. The hell does that mean, and how do I compare the two? So, and it's like that right across the country. So that's the issue. Some do percentage, some do R factors. The other issue is we don't all audit the same. They audit different ways, they apply points different ways. So it leads to a few issues. One, if you're a shipper or even an insurer, how am I supposed to know how many fleets you have? If you're a shipper and only want to put your stuff on a good fleet, well, if I have 5 different provincial safety ratings, do you think I'm going to tell you about the ones that have bad ratings? I'm only going to tell you about the one that has a good rating. And how you're going to do the research and find out that they have them across the country is a bit of an issue. And then we have an issue where they get shut down in one province, and then they just open up in another province or transfer their fleet over to another province. So there's a few things that are going on to try and fix it. CCMTA had meetings back in September. We also had meetings with Transport Canada in July. Jurisdictions are trying to get together to bring more commonality to the memorandums of understanding and more data sharing between the provinces. I will say this is probably the most conversations we've ever had between federal and provincial governments about making changes and becoming more common. Because of the threat down south, I think we've understood that there's a lot of internal barriers that we need to fix ourselves to make us more resilient within our own country. So it has shone a spotlight on that. So we had a very good meeting in September with them. The provinces, territories have all done a jurisdictional scan, looked at the data, said they're going to become more common, to which I say that's a start. It better not be the finish. And we made that voice loud and clear when we were at the meetings in September. We have to get to the point where we have to feed if you're a federally regulated fleet, there should be one system and one score. It should all be fed into a database. Anything short of that is not good enough. 100% is not good enough. And we made that clear because the message they come out with is, we've reviewed this, we're going to make changes, we're going to become more common, but jurisdictional autonomy is still important. Can't be. If you want to have jurisdictional autonomy for provincially regulated carriers, be my guest. For a federally regulated carrier, there should not be any jurisdictional autonomy. The fleet's driving from BC to Nova Scotia to BC. I don't give a crap if they're licensed in BC or licensed in Nova Scotia. There should be no autonomy. It's got to be one system, one score. Anything short of that, we're not going to fix the problems.
Thanks, Mike. We are going to have a Q&A at the end, so any of the questions that you may have, please just hang on to them. We're going to cover a number of different things, but we will get plenty of time for Q&A. And if there's not a lot of Q&A, then we're just going to roll with some more topics because we got a lot of things to talk about. I should say Mike has a lot of things to talk about. And I know this is important. When you take a look at who the Private Motor Truck Council of Canada represents, it's not just private fleets. There's a number of schools who are members of the PMTC. Mike has worked hand in hand with the schools. In Ontario, he was a board member of the Truck Training School Association of Ontario, and is now a board member of the Professional Truck Training Alliance of Canada. And let's go there. Let's go to PMTC joining the Professional Truck Training Alliance of Canada. You were the first association with approval from your board to join. Can you tell the audience why?
Yeah, I think a couple reasons. As Kim knows, the first time Kim and I met, I come off the road as a long-haul truck driver, and I wasn't an instructor then when I first met Kim. I was going to his school to do a 4-week training program to learn how to become an instructor. learn how to pass the knowledge out of my head onto others, or learn how to forget some of the bad habits and pass the right knowledge on to the drivers. And I was a driver trainer for, I say, 3 years, and then I went into safety and compliance training for our own fleet. Training has always been important to me. It's been a passion of mine. So the reason I got involved with the TTSAO and then PTAC when they became a board is because training is vital. The drivers that are coming out of the training schools are then going to the carriers out on the highway, whether they're private or for hire fleets. So making sure training is being done right, being done properly, so you have the best entry-level student being passed on to a carrier to then do mentorship training is extremely important to me. We were, as you know, and Kim, you were on the group as well, Ontario was the first jurisdiction to come out with mandatory entry-level training. We can get into how successful it's been, but I do believe mandatory entry-level training was important, and all of us stakeholders in the group at the time did think it was important. Ontario came out with it in 2017. We were part of the group, Kim and I both, along with several other stakeholders that met with the MTO, I'd say twice a month for about a year to set that standard up. So we've been involved with training in the standard right from the beginning, and I think it's important. And the PTAC portion of it that Kim helped found and is an advisor with, they are the only national association that represents truck driving schools. Didn't exist before. And I think that's important because we talked about there's jurisdictional differences, but a lot of drivers in this country go coast to coast or south of the border, and I think it's important that we try to make sure our training standards are as close to possible in different regions of the country as well.